On a cold winter morning, the huge mansion stood silently under a grey sky. Snow covered the gardens like a white blanket, and cold wind moved around the tall iron gates. Inside the mansion, everything felt grand, strict, and controlled, just like the owner, Mr. Raymond. Mr. Raymond was a billionaire known for his powerful voice, sharp eyes, and serious nature. Every worker in the mansion walked carefully when he was around. No one dared to make a mistake. If someone did, his anger could be felt in the entire house. His footsteps alone brought silence. The maid, Maria, worked quietly in the background. She had been in this mansion for many years. She woke up before sunrise, cleaned every corner of the house, prepared breakfast, and made sure everything was perfect. She never complained, even though the work was heavy. She always smiled politely when spoken to. But inside, she carried many worries, especially for her daughter. Maria's daughter, Leah, was a 10-year-old girl with soft brown hair, bright eyes, and a shy nature. She visited the mansion every day after school because Maria couldn't leave early. Leah mostly sat in a small room near the kitchen, did her homework, and waited for her mother to finish work. She was polite, quiet, and never caused trouble. The workers loved her, but Mr. Raymond hardly noticed her existence. That morning, the mansion staff moved quickly. The sound of footsteps echoed on the marble floors. Everyone knew Mr. Raymond was in a bad mood. A business deal had gone wrong. His voice traveled across the hall as he spoke angrily on his phone. Maria tried to stay invisible. She cleaned the floor again and again, even though it was already spotless. Leah arrived quietly, her small shoes leaving light marks on the floor. She held her school bag tightly and looked around with curious eyes. The mansion always looked like a castle to her. Huge paintings, expensive vases, shining lights, and wide rooms. But she always felt tiny inside it. Maria quickly hugged her daughter. "Sit here, okay? Be quiet. Mr. Raymond is angry today," she whispered. Leah nodded. She understood. She never wanted to disturb anyone. She sat near the staircase, opened her notebook, and began drawing. She loved drawing more than anything. It helped her forget the cold and the silence. As she drew a small Christmas tree, she heard footsteps. Heavy ones. Strong ones. Mr. Raymond. He stopped near the staircase and looked down. His eyes slowly moved to the little girl sitting alone with her notebook. "Who is that?" he asked in his deep, cold voice. Maria froze. "Yes, sir, that's my daughter, Leah. She comes after school. She waits here quietly, sir. She never bothers anyone." He looked at the drawing in her hand. "What is that?" "A Christmas tree, sir," Leah answered softly. Her voice was small but sincere. Mr. Raymond sighed. "Christmas. I don't celebrate unnecessary things. It wastes time." His tone was emotionless. But Leah didn't look scared. She simply smiled a tiny smile and said, "Christmas is not for rich or poor. It is for hope." Those simple words surprised him. No one had spoken to him like that in a long time, especially not with such innocence. He stared at her for a moment, confused by the strange warmth he felt. Before he could respond, he heard a crash from the kitchen. A plate had slipped from a servant's hand. The sound made him angry again. He shouted, and the workers tremblingly apologized. Maria rushed to help. But Leah remained seated, watching him with calm eyes. There was no fear, only a quiet sadness, as if she felt something in his heart that others didn't. Later that day, as snow continued to fall outside, Mr. Raymond sat in his office reviewing files. His eyes moved across the papers, but his mind went back to the little girl's words. Hope. He hadn't thought about that word in years. Suddenly, he heard a soft knock. The door opened slowly, and Maria entered. "Sir, may I take my daughter home now?" He nodded without looking up. But the moment they left, the office felt strangely empty. That night, as the mansion grew silent and the lights dimmed, Mr. Raymond stood near his window, thinking. He had everything, money, power, respect, but why did a child's simple smile touch him? Why did he feel something warm inside a heart that everyone believed was made of stone? The snow kept falling, soft and peaceful. Somewhere deep inside, a small door opened in his cold personality. And he knew, without fully understanding it, that something in his life was about to change. Something had already started the moment he looked into the eyes of the maid's quiet, innocent daughter. This winter morning at the mansion was not ordinary. It was the beginning of a story he never expected, one that would challenge his beliefs, shake his emotions, and make him question everything he thought he knew. And soon, this strict, powerful billionaire would offer the little girl something unbelievable. 3 wishes. Wishes that would change all of their lives forever. The next morning, the mansion looked the same on the outside, cold, tall, and grand, but something inside Mr. Raymond was different. He didn't understand why he kept thinking about Leah. Her soft smile. Her innocent eyes. Her simple words about hope. He tried to push the thoughts away. He buried himself in business calls and meetings, but nothing worked. Every now and then, her face appeared in his mind. Why am I thinking about a child? He wondered. Meanwhile, in the servant quarters, Maria helped Leah get ready for school. Leah wrapped her tiny scarf around her neck as snow continued falling outside. "Mama," she whispered, "the rich man looked sad yesterday. He looked lonely." Maria paused, her hands freezing in the air. "Leah, don't say such things. He is our boss. He doesn't like anyone talking about his emotions." "But he was lonely," Leah repeated softly, not out of rudeness but with pure innocence. Maria sighed. She knew her daughter saw things others overlooked. Leah had a gentle heart, and sometimes that heart noticed pain even when it was hidden. Later that noon, Leah returned to the mansion as usual. She quietly walked in and sat near the kitchen with her drawings. But today, something surprising happened. Mr. Raymond came downstairs. Not with anger. Not with loud footsteps. But slowly, thoughtfully. His eyes landed on Leah again. Instead of ignoring her, he walked toward her. The servants looked at each other in shock. Mr. Raymond never interacted with workers' children. He barely interacted with workers. Leah looked up and smiled. "Good afternoon, sir." He cleared his throat. "What are you drawing today?" "A house," she replied. "A small house with warm lights. One day I want my mother to live in a warm place. Not cold, not scary." Mr. Raymond stared at the picture. It wasn't fancy. It wasn't big. But it had something his mansion didn't have, warmth. "Why do you want a small house?" he asked. "Because big houses make big loneliness," she said simply. Her words hit him like a soft knife. He suddenly felt exposed, as if she could see the emptiness he hid behind money, luxury, and power. Before he could speak, the head chef hurried forward. "Sir, lunch is ready. Should we serve it now?" Mr. Raymond waved his hand. "Wait." Everyone froze. He looked at Leah. "Have you eaten?" Maria rushed forward. "Sir, she has her lunchbox." "I wasn't asking you," he said gently, surprising even himself. Leah nodded. "I ate at school, sir." Mr. Raymond wasn't satisfied. He saw the small, simple lunchbox beside her. It looked half empty. He knew children needed more food than that, especially in winter. He turned to the chef. "Prepare something for her." The chef's eyes widened. "For her, sir, are you sure?" "Yes," he said firmly. Within minutes, a small plate of warm soup and bread appeared. Leah stared at it with big eyes, unsure if she was allowed to touch it. "Eat," Mr. Raymond said, but his voice was soft this time. "It will keep you warm." She took a spoonful and smiled. "It tastes nice, sir." Mr. Raymond felt strange again. A light feeling. A soft one. Something he hadn't felt in years. Maria whispered nervously, "Sir, this is too much kindness. Leah doesn't want to cause trouble." "She isn't trouble," he said sharply, and Maria fell silent. After lunch, Leah packed her notebook, preparing to move back to her small chair near the stairs. But Mr. Raymond stopped her. "Come," he said. Maria's heart jumped. "Sir, where are you taking her?" "To my study," he replied. The staff gasped. Mr. Raymond never allowed anyone into his study, not even senior workers. Leah followed him quietly. Inside, the study was filled with heavy books, old artwork, and big leather chairs. Everything looked cold, serious, and lonely. Mr. Raymond sat down and looked at the little girl standing in front of him. "Leah," he said slowly, "you spoke of hope yesterday." She nodded. "Why do you believe in hope?" he asked, genuinely curious. "Because hope is all we have when we don't have anything else," she answered. "Hope is like a small candle. Even if the room is dark, one candle can chase the darkness away." His chest tightened. This child was saying things adults never dared to say. Then suddenly, without thinking, He said something that shocked even him. Leah, if you could make 3 wishes, what would they be? Leah blinked in surprise. 3 wishes? For real? Yes, he said. 3 wishes. Anything you want. And I will fulfill them. Maria, who stood at the door, gasped loudly. Sir. No, no, please. She is just a child. Don't make promises. I don't make jokes, Mr. Raymond said firmly. Leah stared at him with wide, innocent eyes. She was surprised, confused, a little scared, and a little happy. She took a soft breath. Sir, if I tell my first wish, she whispered, will you really listen? Yes, he answered. I will listen. And at that moment, Leah opened her mouth, and spoke a wish that struck him so deeply, it felt as though the ground beneath him disappeared. Her first wish changed everything. The room was silent. The snow outside the mansion fell gently. Mr. Raymond waited, his eyes fixed on the small girl standing in front of him. Leah looked down at her shoes. She held her fingers together, almost shaking. Her voice came out soft, innocent, yet heavy with pain. Sir, my first wish is, please give my mother 1 day off. Just 1 day. She never rests. She never sleeps well. She always works. I want her to have 1 peaceful day. 1 day without stress, without fear. Maria gasped loudly. She covered her mouth with both hands as her eyes filled with tears. Leah. No, no, sweetheart, she whispered. You shouldn't ask such things. But Leah looked up at her mother with gentle eyes. Mama, you always tell me that you are strong. But even strong people need rest. Maria broke into quiet tears. Mr. Raymond stared at Leah, speechless. He expected a wish for toys. Or a warm jacket. Or a birthday cake. Or a new house. But instead, her first wish was for someone else. For her mother. A servant standing near the door whispered to another, this child, she is something else. Mr. Raymond swallowed hard. He felt something inside him burn, something he had locked away years ago. He asked slowly, Leah, why didn't you wish for something for yourself? Leah smiled in her innocent way. Because Mama needs this more than me. She works from morning to night. Sometimes she cries when she thinks I'm asleep. She is tired, but she still smiles so I don't get scared. Maria broke down, covering her face. Mr. Raymond looked at the woman who had worked in his home for years. Every morning she arrived before sunrise. Every night she left after everyone else. He never noticed she stayed tired. He never cared to look. And now, through a child's eyes, he finally saw the truth. He stood up from his seat slowly. He walked toward Maria. Maria, he said quietly, from tomorrow, you will take a full day off. Paid. No work. No duties. Maria looked stunned. Yes, sir. I don't know what to say. You don't need to say anything, he replied. Your daughter has spoken for you. Leah's face lit up like a small lamp. Really, sir? She can rest. She can sleep. She doesn't need to wash the dishes tomorrow. Mr. Raymond almost smiled. Almost. Yes, he said. That is your first wish. And I will keep it. Leah whispered, thank you, sir. But Mr. Raymond wasn't done. He looked at Maria again. His voice was calm, but strong. And from today onward, you will work fewer hours. And your salary will be doubled. Maria shook her head in disbelief. Sir, no, please. This is too much. It is not, he said firmly. Not after what I have seen today. Leah ran to her mother and hugged her tightly. Mama, now you can rest. Now you will not be so tired anymore. Maria hugged her daughter, tears streaming down her cheeks. The room felt different now, warmer, softer, almost human. But Mr. Raymond's heart was still unsettled. Leah's wish had opened a door inside him he never wanted to open. Memories of his own childhood began to rise, the loneliness, the pressure, the lack of love. He walked toward the window, staring at the falling snow. After a long moment, he turned back to Leah. Your first wish has been granted, he said. Leah looked up with bright eyes. But, he continued, there are still 2 wishes left. Leah blinked. Suddenly she looked nervous again. Sir, can I think about the next one? Yes, he said. Take your time. Maria whispered, Leah, don't trouble him too much. But Mr. Raymond interrupted gently. "She is not trouble." Leah stepped closer to him with small, brave steps. "Sir, I want to ask something. Not a wish. Just a question." "What is it?" he asked. "Why do you look sad even in this big house?" she asked softly. The question hit him so hard that for a moment, he forgot how to breathe. He had no answer. He just stood there, silent, like a man whose secrets were suddenly exposed. Leah didn't wait for a reply. She simply smiled and said, "Maybe your heart needs a wish too, sir." And with that, she held her mother's hand and walked out of the study, leaving Mr. Raymond alone, with a pain he had not felt in years, and a mystery he could no longer ignore. After the first wish, the mansion felt different. Maria rested that day, enjoying a rare, quiet morning. She walked slowly in the halls, smiling as the sunlight touched her face. For the first time in years, she felt calm, peaceful, and cared for. Leah stayed close, happy to see her mother finally relaxed. Meanwhile, Mr. Raymond could not focus on anything. His office, usually filled with silence and control, now felt empty and strange. Every corner reminded him of Leah's innocent eyes and her question, "Why do you look sad even in this big house?" By the next day, Leah returned to the mansion. She quietly walked to her small chair near the stairs, carrying her notebook. But Mr. Raymond surprised everyone. He was waiting for her. He called her into his study again. "Leah," he said, "you have one wish left, or actually two, if you want. Tell me your second wish." Leah hesitated. Her small hands twisted nervously. "Sir, my second wish," she whispered. "I want you to smile sometimes. You look so lonely all the time. Please, try to be happy." Mr. Raymond froze. No one had ever said that to him. No employee. No friend. No business partner. Not even his family, long ago. A 10-year-old child, poor and quiet, was telling him to smile. He did not know what to say. He felt his throat tighten. His heart felt heavy yet warm. For the first time in years, he realized that wealth, power, and respect meant nothing if there was no joy inside. "Leah, he started, then paused. How could he explain the loneliness he hid behind money and authority? How could he explain the emptiness inside? She smiled gently, as if she understood. "Sir, you don't need to explain. Just try. Smile sometimes. It will make the world nicer." Mr. Raymond nodded slowly. He decided then and there to try. He spent the rest of the day with Leah, talking and listening to her small stories about school, her friends, and her dreams. He even allowed her to draw on his large office desk. For a few moments, the mansion felt like a home, not a cold place filled with rules. Maria watched from the doorway. She could not believe her eyes. The man she had served for years, the man feared by everyone, was laughing softly with her daughter. It was a sound she had never imagined hearing. The day passed quickly. Dinner came, and Mr. Raymond personally joined them. He served Leah her favorite soup, and she giggled as he made funny faces while eating. Maria smiled too, finally understanding that something had changed inside him. But the mansion staff whispered among themselves. No one had seen Mr. Raymond act like this. Some feared it was temporary, others hoped it would last. At night, after Leah and Maria left, Mr. Raymond sat by the window, looking out at the snow-covered gardens. He thought about her first wish for her mother, and her second wish for him. He realized he was learning something he had never known before, the true value of kindness, humility, and care. But there was still one wish left. The most important one. He could sense it in Leah's eyes, the little hope she had not yet spoken aloud. He wondered silently, what could a child like her ask next? Would she ask for riches, toys, clothes, or something deeper, something that could truly test him? He did not know. But he was ready to listen. And so, the stage was set for Leah's final wish. One that would not only complete her small list but would change all their lives forever. The suspense hung in the mansion like the cold winter night outside. Mr. Raymond knew one thing for certain. When the little girl spoke her last wish, he would never see the world the same way again. The next morning, Leah walked into the mansion quietly, holding her small notebook. Maria followed behind, still amazed at how the billionaire had changed after her daughter's first two wishes. Mr. Raymond was waiting in his study, sitting by the large oak desk. His eyes softened as he looked at Leah. "Good morning, Leah. Today, we will hear your final wish. What is it?" Leah paused. She bit her lip, her tiny hands twisting nervously. Maria held her close, whispering, "Take your time, my dear." Finally, Leah looked up at Mr. Raymond with brave eyes. Her voice was soft but firm. "Sir, my final wish is for my mother to live a peaceful life. A real peaceful life. No more worries, no more hard work, and no more fear." Mr. Raymond felt his chest tighten. He had already helped Maria with her first wish, but this wish was bigger. It was not just about money or comfort, it was about her happiness, her safety, and her dignity. Tears welled up in his eyes. He realized that this little girl, who seemed so small and fragile, was wiser than anyone he had ever met. Her first wish showed selflessness. Her second wish showed kindness. And her final wish showed deep love. "I will grant this wish," he said quietly. "I promise." He called his financial advisors and explained everything. Within a few hours, Maria's debts were cleared. A beautiful small house, warm and cozy, was purchased for her near the mansion. She was given a well-paying job with reasonable hours, enough to live comfortably and peacefully. When Maria and Leah returned from the mansion courtyard, they found Mr. Raymond waiting with a small gift. It was a golden key, tied with a red ribbon. "This," he said, handing it to Maria, "is for your new home. And from now on, your life will be your own. You deserve it." Maria could not speak. Tears streamed down her face. She hugged the billionaire tightly. "Thank you. I don't know how to repay you." He shook his head gently. "You do not need to repay me. You taught me something I had forgotten, something very important." Leah smiled softly. "Sir, what did I teach you?" Mr. Raymond looked down at her, his eyes filled with emotion. "That true happiness does not come from money or power. It comes from love, kindness, and caring for others." For the first time in years, he laughed freely. It was not a forced, serious laugh that everyone in the mansion had learned to fear. It was warm, soft, and genuine. Leah giggled too, happy to see the man smile. Days passed, and life changed in the mansion. Mr. Raymond spent time with Maria and Leah, sometimes helping with homework, sometimes sharing tea in the small garden. The mansion, which had always felt cold and lonely, became filled with warmth and laughter. One evening, as they all sat by the fireplace, Mr. Raymond quietly said to himself, "A child's heart can change even the hardest of men." Leah looked up. "Sir, is that one of your wishes too?" He smiled, a real smile, and shook his head. "No, but it feels like it is." Maria hugged her daughter and whispered, "You were the bravest girl I've ever seen." Leah simply smiled, her small hand in her mother's. She had no idea that her three simple wishes, selfless, kind, and loving, had done something even bigger. They had not only changed her life and her mother's life, but they had changed the heart of a billionaire forever. And from that day on, Mr. Raymond was never the same man. He learned to listen, to care, and to smile. All because a small girl, with innocence and courage, had taught him the true meaning of life. The mansion, once a place of cold power, had finally found warmth. And it all began with three small wishes.